Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. It's 5 in the morning, I can't sleep, which is really weird. This whole COVID recovery has just wreaked havoc on my whole situation. Like I can't make it through the day without a nap, which is fun when you're working, by the way. And then like I'll go to sleep and then I'll wake up at like 4 in the morning. Wide awake, Bronco, Scout Jeep, Bronco. It's crazy. So, family, loved ones. So let's get into what we're doing here. And I know you guys are gonna see this and you're gonna be like, Matt, you're doing it again. You're getting in over your head. Look, I took the Scout down to nothing and I brought it back like a phoenix from the ashes, okay? I can handle this. Last time was different. First of all, I blew the body apart like my name was Dennis Carpenter, okay? I don't have those skills. I don't have the body jig, okay? I'm not gonna do that again. I don't have the rust problems on this one, okay? First. Second of all, I needed to build the house. I was, I had a lot going on. I don't have that now. I'm relaxed, I have my shop. There's no rush, okay? So you're in a rush. I'm not in a rush. So this is gonna get done, gentlemen and ladies. So relax, okay? So let me give you an update of where I'm at. Obviously, I pulled the glass out of the hardtop. I've taken the doors, I cut the hinges, took the doors off. I managed to get all the bolts out of the hinges, out of the A-pillar here, without breaking a single one. So that's good. That means I don't need to get into the A-pillar, which is very important. Because this little piece right here, this union is like the most important point on the Bronco because it sets everything, all the relationships right here. So that's good. I'm gonna give you a walk around of the body. A lot of talking on this episode. There's gonna be a little bit of action maybe if I take the hardtop off on this episode. But there's just gonna be a lot of talking, all right? And a lot of detail and a lot of thinking. So if you don't wanna see that, Power Nation channel, baby. Right down there in your suggested. I should also add that I have a lot more room than last time. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, I pulled the motor out. That needs to go to a machine shop. I'll talk about that a little later. I get the doors, fenders, seats, interior, all that out, the front grille. Okay, so let's take a look around. Floor, still in great shape. I'm very happy with the floor, except for the footwells. I was originally just going to try to repair that seam, but the more I poke around the footwells, the more light I see coming through, so I think both side footwells need to come out. Not a big deal, okay? Let's talk about the hardtop rust. You guys said you couldn't really see the rust. So that's above the windshield frame. A little bit in the corners there. So you definitely got some bubbling. That corner's starting to go. And then that drip, that side is really bad. There's pinholes of light coming through there. Coming around the back, this upper lip is just rough. I think that pinch weld needs to be replaced. And maybe the top corner of that edge panel, and then inside on both corners, rough up here, The tailgate looks pretty good. What's weird is this is supposed to be a 66, which means it's supposed to have the tailgate mounted spare tire carrier. It didn't. It had this horrible hacked together Bronco bumper tire carrier, which was held on with that awful bracket, that one right there. As you can see, I took the fender flares off. Is this gonna not focus today? What is going on? And this one's a little potato chip. That's after me straightening it, and it's still pretty potato chipped right in that region right there. Let's go to the other side. same thing, bit of a bow potato chip. So got to figure out a way to shrink and kind of bring that metal back into conformance. On the pillars, not too much rust, mostly surface rust. I can deal with that. These are actually in really good shape. Normally this is the first thing to rot out, is this overlap, but this all feels pretty solid, both sides. Looks like maybe she was hitting the nose or something, or maybe that was just what the factory did to get it to fit. I don't know, I'm not sure about that one. But the panels fit, so I'm probably not going to mess with it. It does look like it was punched in the nose, and I saw some evidence of that on the fender. But generally okay, not too bad. Engine bay, not much to talk about here. Looks fine, the frame looks fine. You know, you could see some of the factory Wimbledon white coming through when I pressure washed the firewall. This side again, super clean. I think the rockers are full of muck, so I need to get in there and demuck those. And there's a little bit of rust, like, you know, you'll see bubbles here, typical area. So I would say all in all, the rust situation is really good. In terms of panel replacement, the fenders are totally salvageable. There's just holes from the fender flare. A little bit of bending on one of them in the very front, not an issue. So I think we're going to be able to salvage the doors, the fenders, most of the bed. The only question is, if I can't get this straightened out here, this kind of waving, I definitely can't get the lip straightened out because it looks like they cut it and pinched it back. But I might be able to get this straight. I don't know. So I'm going to spend some time hammer and dollying that at some point and try to get this stretched and bent. And if I can get it close, I can mud it and call it good. But if it just continues to potato chip, I might have to replace this panel here, which isn't a huge deal. The nice part about that is that there's no indexing, meaning like it's a standalone thing. You bust out the spot welds here, and then the spot welds there, and you can cut it off. You can cut it off, so you have access to the backside, and then you just weld the new one in. The only problem is sometimes they don't fit perfectly, but so I'm going to try to avoid doing that. But that's like a worst case. And then obviously the floor pans, which is fine. It's just, again, drilling a lot of spot welds. But I'm not complaining because the thing's in great shape. The top, I'm not sure about the top, guys. Like, I don't know if I should, like, there's so much rust in between these two panels that it's like, do I just spray it and forget it? Like, how do I even get into that upper area without busting the panel apart? With like a wire brush and then shoot OSPO and hope it's okay? I could do that. And maybe that's the way I go, you know? I'm not sure. That one pinch weld is pretty bad, but I can wire wheel it until the weak stuff falls off, treat it, and then maybe just repair a few pieces of it, like keep it super minimal. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. We'll see, I don't know. I mean, it's not gonna be stored outside, right? So theoretically, it shouldn't start rust blooming anytime soon, even with a less than perfect repair. So that's sort of the plan, is to work on the body work while the motor, which is right here, the motor here is in the machine shop. This thing, so here's the deal. Machine shops around here are really booked out. So he said he'll take it next week. He said this last week too, but anyway, he said he'd take it next week and that expect to have it for 3 months, so June. And expect a budget of $300 to $3,500, which is unbelievable because you can get a small block Chevy long block for like $1,800 or $2,000 new from GM. So it's like, where are you at, Ford? Like, why can't, anyway, I don't want to get into it, okay? Can't change the world, right? But it did get me thinking, like, shit, now I'm going to go on a tangent here. Come with me. Let's go for a walk. Should I just go get an Explorer that runs and pull that motor out with the 4R70W? But then you got to get an adapter from the 4R70W to the Dana 20. Say that's $700 bucks. You got to get a controller for the 4R70W, at least a few $100 and then you got to get a standalone harness and stuff for the EFI on the Explorer. You got to put a fuel tank and the pump, and then I'm like, oh my god. And I got to explain to the wife why I have another car here. Now I can just yank the stuff out and salvage it, scrap the car, you know, take the 8.8 rear axle out, scrap the rest, get a couple $100 back. You know, in the end, I think it would cost more to go down that route. Plus, it's a lot more hassle, and the, you know, the explanation situation. Although Mrs. Matt's Garage is the most understanding and extraordinary garage wife imaginable. I can't, you know, you don't want to push it too far, you know. So I'm just gonna give it over to the machine shop, let him do his thing, and then get the body ready, basically. So here's the plan for the body. I'm gonna take the top off, lean it up against the wall, so it's nice and roomy here. I'm gonna fold the windshield down, see how bad the piano hinge is. If it is in any way savable, I am not replacing it. I'm gonna take the dash and all that stuff out. Make the pedals an automatic situation. Right now there's a third pedal, so I need a filler piece to go where the clutch pedal is. Do the floors. So then once I do the floors, then it's structurally sound again. Then I'm gonna lift the body off the frame, clean up the frame, paint it. While the body's off, I'll tip it up like I did the Scout, get all the old crap out from underneath it, Raptor line it, put the body back on, and then we're off to the races. Which is basically what I did with the Scout, except with the Scout I didn't have any rust repair to do. So that's the plan. Yeah. Oh, so many thoughts, so many questions. Like, why is the tailgate? Why isn't there a spare tire carrier on the tailgate? I'm so confused. It's a 66. I mean, I checked the VIN. But for some reason, there's just little things where I'm like, huh. I mean, it's got the vacuum wipers. Maybe they replaced the tailgate. I mean, maybe the tailgate rotted out. Maybe that's the issue. I have a feeling there was a leak from the roof rack seal, and maybe that rotted the tailgate out, and they replaced it. Maybe that's when they painted it, when the tailgate rotted out. A lot of maybes. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, so that's annoying. All right, let's take this hard top off. Oh, that's crusty. So crusty. Are you looking at my bum? Bum looker. Might be asking yourself, is Nat gonna Lone Ranger this top off? The answer to that is yes. Kinda. Do you need anybody? I need someone to show. And this is why we love these trucks. I mean, when it's got the top off, I mean, it's just, It's just a barrel of monkeys, you know? So fun. It just brings a smile to my face when the top comes out the vehicle. It's true for the Bronco, it's true for the Jeep, it's true for the Scout. No matter what your rig is, if you can manage a convertible, whew, that's the life. This is the life. God, it's so funny. Now I've sort of caught the ambulance here, so what do I do with that thing now? I think I'm gonna lean it against the wall. So, I guess the moral of this story is, you think you can't do it by yourself, just think harder. Pretty good, actually. I get good access to everything from here. It's a good position. I mean, I'll stabilize it a little bit, but like, you can really see all the spot welds and comfortably work on this edge here. Oh my God, make it rain. I'm gonna clean up a little bit, show you the bed with the top off. Let's bring you into the bed here. I mean, it looks really good. I see some bubbling evidence here, which I think kind of supports my theory about the tailgate being replaced, because you see some rot here at the edges, but it's not, you know, it's not all the way through. Sorry if that's shaky. So you see the rot in the edges. It's not all the way through, but it's there. It's definitely there. So I wonder if there was some issue with the draining of the weather stripping or whatever, because I think they redid the drains on the. See, this is now the drain for the weather stripping on the liftgate, and they changed it and put a drain on the back of the Bronco. See these holes? So I think this is a later tailgate, which is why it doesn't have the provisions for the tailgate mounted tire carrier. But it's got the dimples, I think, where they would have gone. So if any of you have a photo for how the tailgate is supposed to mount, how that tailgate spare tire is supposed to mount, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, that's weird. There's no bolts in here, but the windshield doesn't flip up. Come on, that's gonna be a bitch. Okay, that won't get out. You gotta put pressure on as you take these off. Otherwise, they'll come out. So these were not even tight in there. But the edge ones. Dash pad come off at this point. Okay. Get that screw off. When the cross pattern's got enough rust in it to keep your screwdriver from getting there, that's when you know you're gonna have some issues on it. But let's give it a try. Better to be lucky than good. Okay. Alright, that looks normal. So why in the heck they weld it? I mean, help me understand what I'm missing here. I can't take the dash off without moving the windshield forward, right? And the windshield is only held on with these two bolts, which are missing. Oh, they're not missing. They're snapped off deep in there. Oh man. It's getting there. It's so close. All right, guys. Oh. Hold on. Don't break that. That's an original, made in the USA windshield wiper. So you can see, focus here, there you go. You can see not a ton of rust. You know, it's not bad at all. A little bit in the corner, and then I'm gonna hit these with some penetrant because you need to get these loose to get the dash off. Those are a super big pain. I think I snapped all of them off on the last one. Well, look, thank you for joining me on this teardown day. If you're still watching, you're obviously hardcore, so please subscribe to the channel and like. I'm at like 95, 50 or something subscribers. So close to 10K. You don't get a button, you don't get anything special for 10K, but it'd be just help me. So you can also email me questions at mattsgarageshow@gmail.com. I try to respond to everybody. I have some overdue responses out there, and I apologize, but I'm trying to manage the work and the family and the car and everything, so it's no disrespect meant. So thanks again. Got a lot of work to do in here, a lot of spraying. So we'll see you next time on Matt's Garage.